Lag BaOmer, we celebrate the passing of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Regarding Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, it's known that his soul was on such a high level that the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash should not affect him at all. It's brought down the name of the Alter Rebbe that for great neshamas, for great souls like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Beis Hamikdash was not destroyed at all. What does this mean? It's known that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said on the day of his passing, he said that throughout his life, that throughout his life he was tied with the Eibusher, completely one, completely attached and connected to the Eibusher with a complete bond and unity, in the sense that he was one with the essence of Hashem. At that level, that a person is one with the essence of Hashem, he's obviously totally beyond all the limitations, all the concealments of exile. Now, the unique accomplishment of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wasn't just that he himself was in such a high level, but what's so special about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was that he revealed the innermost part of Torah to each person. And the innermost part of Torah reveals the innermost part of the soul. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's unique accomplishment was that he gave every person the ability to experience this B'chad Ketiris Katana, this unique bond with Hashem, where a person is completely one with Hashem, in the sense that he's able to transcend exile, is able to transcend the limitations of exile. This also explains a story that the Rebbe repeated a number of times. It's brought down in the writings of the Arizal, that the Arizal once went up to Miron, he went up to Lag BaOmer, to the Tzion, to the place of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and one of his students was Rabbi Avram Halevi, who was known that throughout his life he mourned the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. It was said about him that he was a Gilgal. He was a reincarnation of Yirmiyahu Hanavi, of the prophet Yirmiyahu, who prophesied regarding the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, and therefore he keenly felt the destruction in a very vivid way. And every day he would mourn and pray. He would say, it's a special prayer that we say on Tisha B'Av Nachem, asking Hashem to rebuild the Beis Hamikdash. And when he came to Meron on Lag BaOmer, he did the same. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told Arizal that he wasn't happy with this, and there was a certain negative consequences as a result. Now the question is, Rabbi Avram Halevi said this prayer every single day of the year. Why specifically on Lag BaOmer was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai upset that Rabbi Avram Halevi said this prayer? So the reason is because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was at a level where the mourning of the Beis Hamikdash does not affect. And Rabbi Avram Halevi, being a student of the Arizal, should have been aware of the great level of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It should have affected him that in that day he shouldn't feel the pain of the destruction. What does it mean to each one of us? So the Rebbe explains that there's a famous teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, where the Baal Shem Tov says, the place where a person is, where a person's thoughts are, this is where he is. And there's actually interesting Gemara. The Gemara says in Ksubas, the Pasuk says in Tilim, Ish v'ish yulad ba, that when Mashiach will come, we will say about different people that they were born in Eretz Yisrael. And it says, Ish v'ish, a man and a man, two different types of people. And the Gemara says it refers both the people that were born in Eretz Yisrael and the people that are the people that are anticipating to go to Eretz Yisrael. Even someone that's anticipating the redemption is considered to have been born in Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because where a person's thoughts are, that's where he himself is. But Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was manifest a revelation of the future by him being completely one with the Eibusher, by the secrets of Torah being openly revealed, and by him revealing it to the whole world. He was living in a state of the future, in a state of the redemption. And when someone is at such a level, so the limitations of exile, he's above the limitations of exile. So even if by a person connecting himself with Rashbi, by a person learning the innermost part of Torah, and even if a person says that he's not holding at that level, which externally might be true, but nevertheless his neshama, the innermost part of his neshama, is definitely at that level. And if a person focuses and thinks about the redemption and focuses on the teachings of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, on his absolute bond with Hashem, so in the place where a person's thoughts are, that's where he himself is. And that gives him the ability to transcend the limitations of exile. And if a person is in such a state, he doesn't view exile as a limitation, but he only sees exile as a forerunner, as a preparation for the redemption. Which this similar idea we find also by Rabbi Akiva. And Lag BaOmer, we also celebrate the life of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a student of Rabbi Akiva, and the students of Rabbi Akiva stopped passing away in Lag BaOmer. We find a similar thing by Rabbi Akiva, the famous story that when he was going together with other Chachamim to Yerushalayim, and they saw the Beis Hamikdash, which was completely destroyed, and they saw a fox coming out of the Holy of Holies, the area of the Holy of Holies, and they all bitterly cried, and Rabbi Akiva was laughing. And they asked Rabbi Akiva, why are you laughing? So they asked them, why are you crying? So they said, what do you mean, why are we crying? The holiest place of the Beis HaMikdash, the Holy of Holies, where even the Kohen Gadol was only allowed to go in once a year, is now a place where foxes are hanging out. So Rabbi Akiva said that specifically because of that, why I'm laughing. Because he explains that there's a pasuk that compares the prophet of destruction, Uriah, with the prophet of redemption, Zechariah. And when he saw that the prophecy of destruction was fulfilled, and in the worst way possible, he saw that definitely the prophecies of redemption also become fulfilled in the greatest way possible. And Rabbi explains that the unique accomplishment of Rabbi Akiva was that in the present he saw the future. When he saw the galus, he saw the negative thing of galus, he didn't see it as a negative thing which might later lead to an elevated state, to the redemption. Rather, he was at a state that he was living with the future. His mind was in the future, and he saw a negative thing. He saw right away the positive of it. That will be revealed in the future. So a person's thoughts are, that's where he is. And through learning Pnimius HaTorah, which reveals the innermost meaning of exile, and gives us the foretaste of Mashiach, so as it says in the Zohar, B'hai Sifra Dilach, with the teachings of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, will go out of exile with mercy. You won't need to go through negative things to go out of exile, because when the innermost connection of a Jew was revealed, where he transcends exile, we exit the exile in a happy way, in a peaceful way. It should happen, take it from Yad Mamish, just like Boimer.